The emissary's ship slid from the warp into real space. Blue fire lit its wake and then drained to darkness. The wound from its transition closed. The demon that guided it feasted on the souls fed into its maw as it settled into reality. There, for a second, it lay, a gleaming dagger set against the skin of space. The ship's name was the Scales of Truth. It came from the planet of the sorcerers at the will of Magnus the Red, Primarch of the Thousand Suns. It was young amongst his sisters. Many of the warships that served the Thousand Sons of Sortarius were old, ancients which had fought in the Great Crusade in the war against the Emperor. The sorcerers who served the Crimson King were not outcasts that had to scavenge for wrecks and thieve ships from others. They were the Thousand Sons in glory and magnificence. Their dreams became reality, and the treasures of their legions past were theirs to command. They had grand cruisers whose hulls gleamed with gold that twisted and flowed like a storm winds, destroyers that had been born under the light of the soul itself, battle barges which had helped conquer the galaxy for humanity. The Scales of Truth was no such relic, but a child of the eye. Machine sects had spurned her bones from the ore mined on moons and planets that bathed in warp light. Her systems had not been constructed but grown, cables and connections spreading like veins through the vessel's skeleton as it formed. Warp entities alloyed the metal of her hull and whispered in the flames of her engines. She was more a thing of the Imperium than of the Void, half alive, malevolent and hungry, but she was swift. She could slide through the cracks in the storms that ring the Eye of Terror and then cut through the warp without fear of falling to utter demon's hunger. At the will of her master and the command of Magnus the Red, that was what she had just done. The exile's fleet turned to pursue her, but the lone ship was already past the range of their guns. She slid into the warp like a snake into water. The incantations and demons in her skin began to bend the tides of that other realm. Storms and worlds of predatory emotion moved from her path. Gales of soul blew to lend their speed. The exiles might be able to track the Scales of Truth within the great ocean, but they would not be able to catch her. Nothing could catch her.